Ever find yourself, like, totally geeking out in the plumbing aisle? Like, fascinated by how a high-efficiency boiler actually works?
Uh-huh, totally.
Or maybe you're that person who could explain tech stuff to, like, anyone.
Mm.
And secretly, you kind of love the whole, the thrill of closing a sale.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Well, get ready, because today we are diving deep, deep into the world of the technical sales representative, specifically the hardware, plumbing, and heating equipment scene.
Okay, getting specific. I like it.
And seriously, after going through all of RoleCatcher's resources, like every nook and cranny of their website,
They've got a lot.
this career path is way cooler than people give it credit for.
Right. It's not just about, knowing your wrenches from your pipe cutters.
Definitely not.
It's about bridging the gap.
Yeah.
You got this cutting edge tech, and then you got people who really need it, and you get to be right there in the middle.
Okay, so let's break that down. RoleCatcher gives a pretty detailed picture of what a day in the life actually looks like for a tech sales rep. And honestly, it's way more dynamic than I expected.
Oh, for sure. Forget any boring office job stereotypes. Think
Right.
of it more like this. You're a problem solver first and foremost.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, you're selling boilers, valves, the whole shebang, but
Mm-hmm.
you're actually selling solutions, solutions that are tailored to what that specific customer needs.
That's key.
Exactly. And that means drawing on your technical expertise, right? Offering advice, troubleshooting issues. Heck, maybe you're even on the phone walking some frazzled homeowner through a pressure gauge reading. You become their go-to expert, the one they trust.
It's that expert part that RoleCatcher keeps emphasizing. They say something like 54% of this job is all about computers and electronics knowledge.
That's huge.
So wait, are we talking like needing an engineering degree just to get a foot in the door?
That's a good question. And it's something a lot of people wonder. It's not always about having a formal tech background. I mean, sure, it can be a big plus. But what really matters is having that genuine passion for the tech side of things.
Okay, so you got to really geek out over this stuff.
A little bit. Think about it. Technology is changing everything, even in hardware, plumbing, and heating.
Oh yeah, everything's going smart these days.
Right. Everything's getting smarter, more connected. You might be dealing with like smart home integrations for boilers one day, then troubleshooting some network issue with a digital thermostat the next.
Whoa. Okay, so that 54%, it makes sense.
Exactly. It's not just about selling a product anymore. You're selling a whole connected system.
So maybe all that tinkering in the garage isn't such a bad thing after all, huh?
It's great prep, but here's the other thing RoleCatcher really stresses. This isn't your typical old-school sales job.
What do you mean?
It's gone digital big time. We're talking e-commerce platforms, doing virtual consultations.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah. You might even be using customer relationship management software, CRM, they call it,
CRM, got it.
to keep track of all your client interactions. It's this whole blend of technical know-how and like digital fluency. You could be sending out proposals online one minute, then explaining how a heat pump works to a customer face-to-face the next.
Okay, sounds like no 2 days the same. But let's be real, right? Every job has its pros and cons. RoleCatcher does paint a pretty good picture with the earning potential.
Oh yeah, the money can be really good.
Seeing those numbers, I'm like, sign me up.
Eh?
But they also mention long hours, maybe working some weekends.
Yeah.
Espert, didn't you have a story about a tough customer? One that almost made you rethink your whole career choice?
Oh man, don't get me started. You wouldn't believe some of the situations.
Come on, give us a teaser.
Let's just say you're dealing with people who are often stressed out. Their plumbing's gone haywire or their heating's out in the middle of winter. It's those soft skills that RoleCatcher talks about that become so important.
Soft skills. Like what? Give me some examples.
Think persuasion, active listening, staying calm when someone's about to blow their top.
I can only imagine.
Seriously. Because sometimes, honestly, closing the deal means talking a customer out of buying something they don't actually need.
Interesting. So it's not always about pushing a sale. Huh.
Exactly. You got to be a trusted advisor, not just a salesperson, right?
Gotcha.
And that approach, that focus on building actual relationships, that's what pays off in the long run.
Yeah, I can see that. Building that trust is key. But before we go too far down that road, let's back up for a sec. We talked about like the day-to-day life of a technical sales rep. But what about actually building a career? Climbing that ladder, RoleCatcher lays out some clear stages you can expect, right?
Totally. They've got it all mapped out.
Yeah.
You might start as an entry-level rep, just kind of learning the ropes,
Okay.
assisting the more senior people, maybe even getting your hands dirty with some installations or repairs.
So that's where all that hands-on experience really comes in handy.
Exactly. It's all about building that solid foundation of knowledge, you know?
I feel like we keep coming back to that.
It's essential.
Yeah.
Then, as you gain more experience, you might move on to managing your own accounts, developing those sales strategies,
Okay.
maybe even mentoring some of the newer reps coming
So
in.
you move up the ranks.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher highlights some seriously impressive career paths with people starting at entry level and then bam, they're managing entire territories.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Or even leading whole sales teams. Pretty cool to see.
It's like leveling up in a video game, but with real-life rewards.
Right.
But I do remember RoleCatcher also saying that continuous learning is super important in this field.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't one of those fields where you can just coast on what you already know.
Yeah.
Because technology, it's always changing. New products are popping up all the time. Regulations change.
Right. You got to stay updated.
Exactly. To really stay ahead of the curve, you've got to be a lifelong learner. So we're talking attending industry events, maybe taking some online courses.
Okay.
Some people even get certified in specific technologies. It all adds up.
So it's really about proving you're not just a smooth talker, you actually know your stuff.
That's the key.
And speaking of knowing your stuff, let's talk about actually landing the job in the first place. RoleCatcher seemed kind of obsessed with this idea of beating the automated recruiter. What's that all about?
Okay, so it's like this. It's just the reality of job hunting these days. Many companies use these things called applicant tracking systems.
Applicant tracking systems. That sounds intense.
They're called ATS for short.
Okay, ATS, got it.
And basically, they're used to, like, streamline the whole hiring process.
Okay, so they're trying to make things easier.
Yeah, on their end. But these systems, they scan your resume, your applications, everything,
For what?
for specific keywords and qualifications.
Oh, like the right buzzwords.
Yes. And if your resume doesn't have them, it might never even be seen by a real person.
No way. You're kidding. So you could be the perfect candidate, but
Gone.
just because you didn't use the right words.
The digital abyss.
Oh, man. That's
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah, it's rough out there. But that's where RoleCatcher's tools can be a lifesaver.
Okay, so tell me more about this.
They help you crack the code of these ATS systems. Their platform actually analyzes job descriptions, figures out the exact keywords employers are looking for,
Wow.
and then helps you rework your resume and cover letter to match.
So it's like having a secret weapon to get past those robot gatekeepers.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, so you've done your homework with RoleCatcher, you've tricked the bots, and bam, you land the interview. Now what?
Now the real fun begins.
Oh, boy.
But RoleCatcher has a whole section on interview prep. It's really good.
Okay, because I was going to say, I would be super nerving to that situation.
Oh, for sure. It's nerve-wracking. But they emphasize that you have to go beyond just rattling off facts about, like, boilers and thermostats.
So they want more than just someone who memorized a textbook.
Totally. Interviewers want to see that you can solve problems, that you're focused on the customer, and that you can think on your feet.
So how do you actually show them that in an interview? Like, let's say I'm interviewing for a technical sales rep position. What kind of questions should I expect?
Well, you'll definitely get the classics, like, tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult customer. Or maybe, how do you stay updated with industry trends?
Right, those make sense.
But be ready for the curveballs, too. Like, they might hit you with a hypothetical customer problem and see how you'd handle it.
Oh, a role-playing situation.
Exactly. They want to see your thought process. Can you use your technical knowledge and your communication skills to find a solution?
Okay, so it's a 2-for-1. You have to prove you can talk the talk and walk the walk.
Exactly.
RoleCatcher does have a bunch of those practice interview questions.
Tons. And they even have this cool feature where you can record yourself answering them. Then you can go back and analyze how you did.
Whoa, so you can actually see yourself.
It's like having your own personal interview coach.
That's amazing.
You can catch those ums and ahs and work on your delivery. It's really helpful.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But what about those curveball questions that interviewers love to throw out there? The ones that really throw you off?
Oh, RoleCatcher's got you covered. They have a whole section dedicated to those unexpected questions.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, how about this? If you were a piece of plumbing equipment, what would you be and why?
Wait, really? They asked that?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
But those kinds of questions are designed to see how you think on your feet. Can you be creative? Can you showcase your personality a little?
Oh, I see. It's all about reading between the lines.
Exactly.
Honestly, though, all this talk about interview prep, it's making me a little nervous. I'm already feeling those pre-interview jitters, and I'm not even there.
Totally normal. But RoleCatcher actually talks about that anxiety.
No way, really?
Yeah, they've got a whole section on calming those nerves, like breathing exercises and stuff you can do to visualize yourself nailing it.
Wow, they've really thought of everything.
They're all about practical tips. They even say, like, practice your answers in the mirror or do a mock interview with a friend.
That's actually really good advice.
Right. The more you practice, the more confident you'll be when you're in the hot seat.
Okay, so let's fast forward a bit.
Yep.
You've prepped with RoleCatcher, you rocked that interview,
Yeah.
and you got the job.
Congratulations.
But it doesn't just stop there, does it?
Nope. And this is where RoleCatcher's whole thing about continuous learning comes back around.
Okay.
They have a ton of resources for staying ahead of the curve throughout your entire career, like industry news updates, guides to all the new tech, even links to professional development courses.
So it's kind of like having a career GPS that's always working,
Yeah.
even after you reach your initial destination.
Exactly. Because things change so fast in this field, the learning never really ends. And RoleCatcher gives you the tools and resources to navigate all the twists and turns, explore new specializations. You can really build a career path that's fulfilling and successful.
I'm seriously impressed. We've covered so much in this deep dive. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Right.
From understanding what a technical sales rep actually does every day, to totally crushing those interviews, to staying ahead of the game in a field that's constantly evolving. RoleCatcher is legit a game changer.
Couldn't agree more. It's about taking all the mystery out of the job search, giving people those insider tips, and just empowering them to really take control of their careers.
Well said. I have a feeling some of our listeners are already updating their resumes as we speak.
I hope so.
So, as we wrap things up, we want to leave you with one final thought. If you were building your own profile on RoleCatcher right now, what would it say? What are your biggest strengths? What are you truly passionate about?
Such a good question.
Because this isn't just about finding any old job. It's about finding the career path that truly aligns with who you are. And hey, your dream job, it might just be a click away. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.